Eagle-eyed fans have confirmed that Meghan and Harry have gone their separate ways. Hello and welcome to our Princess Diana news channel. Last weekend, Harry and Meghan were spotted together but separated for the first time since the Bears' appearance. They saw their friend Ellen from his wife's pornographic show and a royal fan pointed it out. The royal couple is wrongly separated, fans clarified. These days, they are more like business partners. They should come together and sell their stories. A relationship, but according to some reports, they don't sleep together anymore, and who can blame them? I'm pretty sure they can't stand each other anymore. Of course we can't stand it. Harry, Meghan and Ellen, on the other hand, are very popular until we find out who they really are at the bottom of their hearts, and of course the allegations of bullying. Now, everyone knows they have to be very careful about talking about the horrific event because it might not stay between the two of them. Now, I am sure Meghan Markle and her legal team will not be under the same roof once they come to an agreement with the legal team representing the royal family and Harry. Their business endeavors are probably going to last until next year, and after they let Meghan know that sure she can hold on to that Duchess of Sussex title. If she stays single, she's going to be officially done. I still cannot believe that Harry expected his family to apologize to Meghan Markle, and you know what? Maybe it's part of the request made from her by Harry. I think Harry has not been as useful to Meghan as she thought he would be. If Charles really wants to help, and he's going to take away those titles once Parliament passes the bill, and then at that point Harry will be even less useful to Meghan. But there's another theory too about why Meghan and Harry, we at the party for Ellen and Portia. So it could have been that there were boys on the left and girls on the right. Or maybe people who support Ellen on one side and people who support Portia on the other. I am not quick to conclude that the two are divorced. I'm sure that will only happen if they don't lose their titles, and then it's about selling a house they can never afford. Yes, it happens a lot. Meghan is probably now looking for a bigger budget for the dress. Meghan is very narcissistic, so I'm sure she also uses sex to control. Harry had probably not been allowed to go to bed with her for a long time. I don't think he was attractive to her anymore after Harry made a fool of himself in front of the world. I think Meghan just thinks he's a loser. Seeing how narcissists figure out how to love a bombshell until they get what they want, after which they don't care about the victim, does give them a great deal of cruelty. It's for them like drugs. Meghan has him right where she wants him. He is far from his family. He is said to be a father of two and enjoys the freedom of what he calls his former girlfriend. Now the feud with the family combined with all of Meghan's disgusting experiences has created a Romeo and Juliet effect in Harry's mind. And that's a big part of Meghan's strategy. I think all these attacks from the outside have made their alliance stronger. Meghan convinced him they were asking the world for help. It's indeed an ideal arrangement, but his position is that love and romance definitely don't work in this situation. You see, when you truly love someone, you want them to be part of the world. You don't want them to join you against the whole world. It doesn't make sense. So for Meghan, this is definitely an example of strategy. He knows that it is important to separate his prey so that no one can get hold of him. And actually I have seen my cat do this. When I give her a big piece of fish, she runs and hides under the bed to eat it there, and no one can take it away from her. By the way, yes, he was sharing his feelings the other day, and no, he doesn't agree with those two either, but eventually we see the day Harry wakes up from his coma and faces reality. This is most likely to happen when Meghan gets tired of Harry and then turns her attention away from him and onto other people. This constant banter will stop, and I don't think we'll ever argue about fried chicken again. Harry will notice that she is behaving differently towards him. He's not so warm and kind anymore, and Harry will do anything to make things go back to the way they were. But that will never happen. Meghan blames him for all the problems in this marriage. She will claim that he didn't support her enough, allowed her family to treat her like garbage, and never loved her. This will continue, and it will continue to hurt Harry until Meghan does. She will be devastated when Harry works with her. He burns, and then I think he finally realizes what he has done. he realizes that he gave up his privileged life, heritage, family and country for this mattress. The actress never took care of her and still needs serious treatment. I also thought that by now everyone would understand that seeing someone isolate a loved one from their family and friends is a sure sign of abuse. He seems to be stuck in this emotional pit and has never been able to process and accept his mother's death. I mean, he was a boy when it happened, so I get it, but with all the resources he has access to and the open mind he has about mental health, Harry really should have at least for a week in intensive care. And of course he's not that little boy anymore, but emotionally I think he's still 12 years old. And Harry continued to do so years after his mother's death, but obviously it didn't work because he still likes to play the victim. Now there are many more people out there who have lost their parents at a young age, and most of them don't have access to the world's greatest therapists like Harry. And somehow they still survive and continue to live meaningful and productive lives. There are so many people out there who have experienced real trauma, really horrific abuse, and they survive and go on to live positive, productive lives, and many of them help other people. But then Harry complains that his brother gets more sausages than he does. I mean, come on, maybe Harry could cheer himself up with a little vacation to Balmoral. Most people don't have access to original locks. Harry had to educate himself. He should learn about people who have real problems in life and maybe learn something from them. There are a lot of people out there who have really had a hard time in life, but you know what they're going through. I mean, what about the Canadian immigrants who are sent to these horrible boarding schools? Or what about all the Indians who are no longer allowed to speak their own language? This is a real trauma. However, while you are resting in the castle, let your brother take the bigger house. No, it is not. I doubt that one day Harry will wake up and see what he's done and what he continues to do, and he'll be overwhelmed with guilt. This guilt never goes away. No, Harry will do the right thing, stand up honestly, and do something meaningful. Or it will simply ignore the guilt and try to delete it. Unlike that weak man, he has shown himself to be weak because he is too afraid to face the consequences of whatever he has done to his family as well as to his country. I mean, from the way he acts, Harry really isn't very smart and is very selfish. I suspect he falls into the latter scenario. People like him usually never allow themselves to truly wake up, they are mentally weak. Harry is careless, he is stupid and he is very selfish. I no longer have any sympathy for him. Harry continues to wreak havoc on his family, and the fact that he sold the weapons collection his grandfather gave me is outrageous. Harry was no longer a little boy. He's a man, he's approaching middle age, and he's responsible for his actions. There is no excuse for what he is doing now. Meghan was actually looking for a rich English man to marry and asked people to introduce her to people they knew. Now Harry will wake up soon, but I don't think the royal family will leave him where he is. I think if Harry comes back he should get a real job. We know he doesn't like it at all, and he can't afford to frown as he contemplates living on minimum wage. Indeed it is. What do you think of Harry? Please let me know what you think in the comments section below and we can discuss it in the royal family too. If you find my video useful, please don't forget to like and share it with your friends and family who can always enjoy it, and please subscribe to Princess Diana News channel to get more updates from our team. Thanks again for tuning in. Bye, and I'll be back tonight to see you all.